Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's new time edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And I'm keeping the summer show at this particular time. I wanted to give access to more of our people in Europe. I wanted to stay here during these daylight hours that we have and bring like a fresh energy into BTO and also catch our speakers while they're really like in high generation mode. So this time, a lot of our speakers tend to be in time zones where it's that time of the day where energy tends to be high. So I wanted to shift the energy up a little bit, and hopefully it works for you guys. And of course, we'll have replays going on, so you're not going to miss anything. But an opportunity to show up live for our European people and people in that part of the world in different time zones, and again, to catch a different perspective on the energetic shifts that are happening are really important to me. And today we have, I just love her. Tracy Clark is on today, and she's really speaking into a topic that is very alive for me right now. And it's alive in the collective, in varying degrees of awareness. But that awareness is coming to a crescendo, and it's what we do with that awareness. Do we hide? Do we stumble? Do we huddle together in the old paradigms of survival, or something new calling us forward? And Tracy's always bringing in what's calling us forward and supplying us with the tools and the ability to navigate this beautiful new terrain that we have access to. If only we know how to navigate it, we'll be able to do it with grace and ease and within community. And so I'm super excited. We're going to open up to a lot of Q&A also. So if y'all are on and want to ask your personal question, nothing's off limits, is what Tracy told me. So hop on board, raise your hand, and we'll dive into that. Tracy, I can read your bio, but let's say hi, and let's just get you going on.
You and I are so non-bio people. People can read that, and yeah, it's such a pleasure to be here because, like you say, there's so much shifting on the planet, and I know with so much programming that is just naturally being forced off right now. And I love that you did change the time. You're so right. People sometimes forget that we work with so many people in different time zones, and it's so nice to offer them the ability to come in the summer vibe and coming off this. Well, we're still in the blood moon sort of energy, right? And so getting ready for a very different summer, fall, and winter than any of us have ever experienced.
Oh, yeah. Well, I want to get into a little bit. Let's go a little bit into your background. You can give us a short description of how you're serving people in your community, what they're receiving from it, what people can expect on this call. And then I want to get into the super moon. There's a strawberry moon. That just came through and accelerate the conversation from there.
Yeah, just for like people where I came from. So obviously being born like most of us here, very different. I know, but I was born very sick into the systems. So I lived in the medical system, was told by many experts, not going to make it, lots of near-death experiences. And, we've all felt that different. We all were like, what is happening? And I did go through my journey. I was my own test subject after they all said, no, 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 no. I do focus on health, wealth, and intuition because obviously we need our intuition to move through our life. And I did come with a lot of trauma, like a lot of people have, a lot of empaths. We've come with a lot of trauma, and I understand. Like I went, a lot of people know through kidnappings, through the near-death experiences, through divorce, through bullying, through all this stuff. And it's funny because people look at you and me today and think, oh, that just must have got there and all's fine. No, trust me, you and I know what dark nights of the souls are. We know what it's like when we want to quit doing our work. And this is a real pivotal time. People are going to feel like I don't want to do my work anymore. I'm going to do something else. This is not the time to stop. And, but a lot of people do that. Like there's so much chaos or things happening. And I just say it's not the time to stop. It's the time to go deeper within. And that's where we find the biggest gifts. And some of the things what I've noticed right now, and I say this because I noticed on my own journey, is the more I actually went within, the easier life got while people around me had more chaos. And I think it's really important, especially with what's unfolding right now. So I learned to craft my skill. I see, feel, hear. I use my hands and my voice when I talk. I use a lot of words and I do a lot of this because I'm following the energies. And I like to do it quick. And I like to teach, what I teach people now is in bite-sized chunks. I always say going from blue pill to red pill. And if you're red pillar, how do we move to the new earth? So the old earth to new earth in the bite-sized chunks, because we grew up, all of us, under the authoritative bodies, or we say the DS bodies, right? We grow up with our family program and then the authoritative bodies from schooling and all these systems. And so we have to deprogram that. There's ways, and that's those belief systems. And so I do a lot of channeling. Sometimes I go in and out now. That's been very new in the last year. People in the community are all of a sudden teaching and I'm gone. People are like, oh, she's gone. That's been new. But constantly, like you and I've said a lot, constantly working on ourselves too, guys. Don't think that don't think there's not little things we're going through and shifts to move through. But we do it with our tools. And I think that's the biggest thing I like to give people. So I spend a lot of time teaching to give you tools. So my goal is not that people are always relying on people like you and I for one-on-one sessions. I want people to learn and go walk out on the street and help the people they're seeing on the street while they're walking by, or help their family members, their loved ones, so they become empowered and they become, they're masters of themselves, because that's who they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So,
well,
yeah.
and that's what we're stepping into. And that can be a scary proposition, as the way that we've thought ourselves to be no longer serves us, because we're growing out of the container that held us. And I
Yeah.
really believe that's what's happening in these shakeups, in these ways that we have to evolve.
Well, look at even in I call it the therapy to death kind of world. It's been, again, done on this old sort of draconian way to keep us small. And it's sort of, I'm not knocking it, saying that it doesn't have a place, but you got to sit there for an hour and you got to pay this amount and you got to do, whereas we're instant beings. And so it really kept us in a container. And when we're moving to work with our energy body and our spiritual beings and all of our guides, timing isn't, oh, let me just meditate. Like, they're coming in all the time, right? So it's not like I'm only going to connect on this hour. It's really, you and I know, it's 24/7. It's when you're sleeping. It's when you're walking down the street. It's when you're going to the bathroom. And that's it is a scary thought to even open more of that. And all of us right now, as you know, are being so called to push every one of ourselves to another level.
Yeah.
And that's like, we've never been there in Earth before. I have chills. So now it's like, but all of these communities coming together, this is what makes it so beautiful, is we're all helping and supporting each other. And gone is the separation is really dissolving at another level. And we have to come together, and people are going to be tested really big over the next few months for sure.
Be tested. But if you've been studying, or you have the cheat sheet, we won't call it a cheat sheet, but the awareness of what's coming, then the test is no big deal.
No, not for us. Not exactly. And that's where we make it easier. Because when you have the tool, I have to say, I've had more harmony this year. Every time I think I hit a level of peace and harmony, spirit shows me another level of peace and harmony. And there's been so much of that. And that's what I love. When you have the tools, you're more in observation mode, but you can help those people that, I call it like, we're all in the ark and you have the ladder down, but you can't go in the water to pull them up. You got to tell them where to put the foot if they want to do it, to come in the ark and join the rest of us.
Right. That's a great way of explaining it. And so what I love what you're bringing to the show today is this stage that we're going through. It's such a strong pull right now, and it has to do with our health,
Yes,
our wealth, our money, our financial situation, our health, our wealth, and our intuition. And so we're going to get deeper into it. And well, actually, we're going to get deep into it now. But what does this, again, you talked about this super full moon that we just experienced and how that's shifting things for us. How's that affecting this big conversation that we're about to like really dive into?
it's really huge, because what people don't realize, and if anybody's been feeling any frustration or rage or anger, and actually it's very normal, because what it is what I've noticed in the subconscious, I saw this, is all the things that we do as aware people. I'd like to get rid of this, or I want to get rid of that, or I'd like to change this, right? You're just having these conversations. Now your spirit team with the planetary energy is going, okay, let's get rid of it. So it's starting to shake it out of your subconscious. But again, that can be scary, and maybe you're not fully aware of what is starting to pull apart. So it's pulling apart everything. It's like this rip, and you can see it on another level, pulling apart everything that doesn't serve us, every place we're not supposed to be, where we are still resistant to let go and move through. And now there's no turning back. So you're going to see it all unfold. And it is also making us more aware of our bodies and our health. And now that's what a lot of the last 2 years was, right? Going within and really connecting, because your body tells you everything. I always say we've got, you got universe, divine, God, spirit, whatever you want to call here, and then Mother Earth. But we only get to borrow Mother Earth in our meat suits while we're here, right? Because when we leave, we're going to go back up to the universal energies. And we've handed so much. I like that old saying, there's a pill for every ill. I don't know if you've heard that, right? So we've handed so much of our incredible innate ability of what our bodies can do in many different ways, and we've discounted it. And now the programming is changing so strong this year, and it's awakening all these parts in people to say, you can heal your body. I did it. You did it. You can restore your body. You can repair your body. And you're in charge of what really is unfolding in your body. And when something shows up, it's usually just right that, okay, what do we need to look at? What needs to shift in our outer environment and our inner environment? If we were taught that in school, imagine how we wouldn't have even experienced what we just went through, because we wouldn't be handing over our sovereignty. We wouldn't be handing over our abilities and our gifts. We would be actually embracing them more and learning exactly, I was just saying before the show, right, that I went to Cirque du Soleil over the weekend. I've seen every Cirque du Soleil show, and I love it because I'm fascinated with the bodies. And when you look at the fact that, how their bodies move and contort, it comes from the discipline. It comes from the actionable every day and speaking to the body and moving the body to do that little bit. So if you look, say, all our bodies can do that if we apply, if you want, to stand with the pole. But it is just showing you on an outer space how brilliant our systems are, and how brilliant just physically for your health. And I got a message from Spirit probably about 4 months ago that it was, so I always have focused on health in our community. Health, wealth, and intuition has been our core. And it goes into relationships and everything, it all kind of crosses over. But 4 months ago, I woke up right out of bed and I said to my community, I said, okay, you have to get into the best connection energetically, physically, mentally on your health than ever before this, winter comes. And the reason was, it wasn't so you're warding off like a fight with viruses, and there's going to be some weird stuff, but it wasn't about that. It was so you could be grounded and centered and strong in your body while all these changes are unfolding, and be so connected and clean. And that's why a lot of people are getting more aches in their bodies, as you know, and they're also really cleaning up their diets. And I mean, what works for them, because everybody's got a different way, but they're finally saying, I need to change how I'm eating, and how you might eat and how I might eat may be very different, but we know we're really saying, body, what do you require? And so the health aspect, where we've really kind of neglected it, is going to come really strong. And I keep saying, it's like, we got to prep, and when the health is strong, the intuition is just getting off the charts. Because I don't know if anybody else has noticed, but all of our intuitions are getting major upgrades. It's a daily.
They're getting upgrades, but it's also a little confusing in the upgrades, because what we're happening is we're not ascending them into the intuition, we're embodying it.
Yeah.
And it's coming from a source from within that used to come from without.
Yes. Yeah.
And from that, there's an adjustment. It's like, am I still connected? Is that still right? Are my guides still here? Is my intuition right? And it's an embodied state of adjusting to the consciousness and its relationship to us as we evolve with it, because the consciousness, as we meet in a relationship, is also expanding in that consciousness. So it's fascinating. And we have to, and it's great to bring the awareness that that's occurring, so that we don't feel out of body or out of touch, either or.
Yeah, you're I heard that a lot of people, I'm like, disconnected. I'm like, no, your systems are coming online very differently. And sometimes that just happens as it's recalibrating. And they're like, oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness. They thought like you said, they're like, I don't get the same kind of connection. I said, you'll see it'll be better once the upgrade inside is finalized. And we'll go through another one and another one.
Yeah. So Tracy, we're talking about what's required and what's happening. What tools or what information, or how are you guiding the people in your community into not just the awareness, but how to apply the awareness in their lives?
Yeah. I'm always giving different tools that will help them release what they feel is something stuck or blocked, and how to connect to the system. Like a lot of people don't know. I use this, here, I'll use this as an example. So when you're field, and you'll know this, but for anyone who doesn't, this is how I like to say it. When there's something in the field that you're afraid of, or you're scared of, or you don't understand, and let's face it, what we're moving into, intuitively we understand. That's why we feel calm. But you can go through fear, you can go through worry, because we're still referencing in the human state, right? What was past, knowing we're going to something forward. So I always say when the body gets really weakened state or the unawareness, I'm going to use my headset, but if you take a spaghetti noodle, right, when it's cooked, it does this. And when your field does this, right, it's very weak. A lot of energy can get in that's even not yours. So what I like to teach people is that how to increase the energy of the body, because when you take it and it's like this and it becomes very firm and very strong, like the spaghetti noodle before you cook it, it's very difficult for those external energies to come into the field. And a lot of the basic tools that people still forget too is, yeah, they can ground, and we're grounding different. And most people are grounding automatically now. You don't need to go there anymore a lot of times. But you'll see that somebody might weaken your field, and it can be something that you didn't even realize was going on. So that simple space, because once people realize, wait a minute, I went out today and my field was weakened, or I was not feeling the best, I wasn't paying attention to my surroundings. It's almost like your field starts to go like this, and then things get in. I say, even if you move your body like this, or you're sitting like this, things can come in. But as soon as you're like this, the field opens and stronger, right? So it actually you can use your body to move that way. So I like to give little things that how you can, move energy up and down with the body like this, and teach them very quickly. Even a flick of a hand can do a lot of things in the field if you understand what you're actually asking.
Yeah. I love the way that you bring it in. It's practical, and it really does, and it calibrates into your particular wiring system that's being upgraded. And as we're upgrading our ability to connect, to descend, to interpret, to be in relationship with these things, we're rewiring different aspects of these components of our lives, of relationships, of health, and of finances. And one of the things that you talk about is rewiring our financial blueprint. I want you to talk more about that, because it's so alive in the field right now.
It's alive, all right. And it's going to get more alive. And I don't say that you guys need to be afraid. That's not what it's about. But the reality is, for many years, you've heard many of us speak about how many different people about how we can see this is the crumbling of the old paradigm. This is the crumbling of these, whatever you want to call them. These, I just say authoritative bodies, because we got to be careful. But I just say these higher bodies, they're moving out of the way, they're leaving, they can't vibrate in the new energy. But that's been a very big slavery mentality. And a lot of our blueprints over thousands of years have come in with this slavery mentality, or, this debt mentality. And so being a slave under that space. And over the years, we've been finding this whole disconnection from it as the more aware we become, right? We unplug and we rewire. And a lot of people don't realize that their blueprint, it doesn't just come from your parents. And that is one blueprint for sure, but it comes from the society that you grow up in. And it becomes from things you've heard maybe on TV, or things you've heard from mainstream media. And so eventually these all accumulate like this. And if you have scarcity or lack, and that is actually this whole system that has kept us in that slavery, the reason it's crumbling, and we will see it crumble over the next, between now and into next year, like we've never seen before. However, this is a good thing. And this is why we want to change the blueprint, because one, you're going to get a lot of new opportunities. So don't go into scarcity. But if you have the scarcity, two, you're going to find new creative solutions to prepare. We talk a lot about how to prepare to go through it. And three, if you have that harmony, you're going to see that the new systems over time, they're going to fail the way they keep telling you. Get off the mainstream media, as a lot of people come to me with this scarcity stuff. You can see in the new energy, it's actually back to humans. Some people call it back to God's money or universe money, what is an unlimited flow between all of us. So this country only gets this, and this one gets this, and the borders, they're going to dissolve. But with that, we have to also, as a collective, evolve more, which means the more we can work on raising our financial blueprints and remove out of scarcity. And also, there's a big component right now where I see in people's fields, a lot of them, because we do so much group work, that they get frozen or they get paralyzed for making a different action step, because there's a big energy right now of kind of, when you're a little kid and you go against your parents and they're like, you don't want to get scolded. You're like, I'm going to get in so much trouble. There's an energy from the old energies that are trying to keep us in place. It's not working. So don't buy into it, guys, but they're trying. So people that aren't aware, they're like, nope, don't go over there. Nope, don't go look over there. Nope, don't go more aware, because now you're leaving the old system. And it's been there for thousands of years. So when we move to the new system, we have to crumble the old. And that's where you want to be in so much harmony and observe and go, this is coming to something better, not, oh my God, what's happening? But again, look at how the financial system has ruled humanity. And then they put fear, right? Oh, if you don't do this, we're not going to give you this. That's all crumbling, but can be very scary if you don't understand what blueprints you need to move and what changes. And what I do when I'm working with people is to strengthen the system to say, okay, if this is where you're feeling, let's remove the imprint. And now, because the imprint is attached to the emotion, which is attached to the experience, right? So when the imprint leaves, the emotion goes neutral, and then you can just see the experience with no attachment. That's how everybody, if you're wondering, how do you know if you got rid of something? Look at it. And if the imprint, if it ever comes back, then the imprint's there. So if you have poverty or lack, once you remove the imprint, then you'll just see the experience. It'll never bother you again. And those imprints are where we need to focus. And Spirit was really clear. And I've kind of sound like a broken record in my community, like, okay, Tracy's always updating us. And I'm like, because Spirit's saying, like, this is going to be really good. This is better for humanity. But like anything, go through a divorce or something, you're scared. You don't know what's on the other side. So we're here to make it easier.
So how do we move those imprints? How do we have a different relationship with them? What are some of the tools or processes that you help with? And I know there's plenty. And
there's lots. This is kind of a simple one, because I like to give you guys something that's practical and easy that you can use, and use this tool. So, okay. So just let's say your experience was you grew up in a house where your parents had a business, they lost it all, and you ended up going from a nice house to a really bad house, and that left you traumatized. And remember, trauma can come in and sometimes people say, oh, I look at that, it doesn't bother me, but they're still struggling. So you actually command to pull up the experience, and you can ask your body, like, you can just hold the heart. I usually tap it to activate the heart drive, and just say, okay, truthfully, body, what is the thing that's bothering me the most around finances right now? You can bring that up too. And you're going to get an answer. You guys will know. You'll be like, I'm afraid of this or that, and hold what that energy is. So I'll just use this as an example. So this in the middle this is your emotional body. So the emotional body, remember, holds on to the imprint the strongest. So it will show up physically, mentally, right? Emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, psychically. It shows up in there, but go to the emotional body first. And then what you start to do is actually start to command the energy to come up. Literally like this. Why am I going in? Like turning on a light switch, because you're commanding the energy to come up in the body. So you're asking it, where is it in the body? So you've identified it. I'm going slow, but you'll get it really quick. You'll identify it, command it to come up, release, let go, and take your other hand, which is the imprint, and you start to move it out of the body like this. Where am I actually pushing it? I'm pushing it down to transmute to Mother Earth. Once you do that, just tune into the body and ask yourself, there's 2 more steps you can do. Ask yourself this question. I am certain, without a shadow of a doubt, that imprint has left my field. This statement you can use for a lot of things. I'm certain, without a shadow of a doubt, that imprint has left my field. And if you actually tune in, you will feel it in your body. You will feel where it's sitting. So go there, move it, and then take one of your hands, doesn't matter which one, you just follow what your body wants to do, and override the imprint. So what are you speaking in? Are you speaking in more harmony? And go to the heart. That's why I'm tapping. So I just kind of go like this, because you get used to it and the energy moves. But are you tapping in more harmony? Are you tapping in more joy? And even if you just want to use the statement and simplify it, you can say, I'm certain, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm receiving all of this money. And then your body's going to tell you, yeah, no, you have doubt, you have worry, you have something. And then remove it and override it. Speak in what you're actually looking for, and you'll start to feel the energy dissipate. You'll feel it lift out of the body. And it can be like 30 seconds. You can do that driving in your car all day if you want to.
I love this because you're bringing the experience of actually being it, and in that it imprints deeply instead of just having a theoretical
Yeah.
potential of it. It's the experience of carrying that energy and the emotion behind it and the confidence of the relationship, just of getting to glimpse it, is powerful.
And what I do say to a lot of people is when you actually go into the heart, like see that, like when you pull that in and you're coming and you're like, I am certain. So see that image of whatever you're doing. You guys are great at connecting, and pull it into the heart drive, and the heart drive will spit the energy to the rest of the body, because your psychic abilities and your spiritual abilities, they're already in your soul. Like everything is there, everything is beautiful, everything's intact. It just got jumbled around this programming, but now you can move it that quick. And I have people tell me constantly, they just do those little things and they're like, oh my God, I got a raise. Oh my gosh, I was supposed to get this money at work, it didn't happen, but then I found out they're giving me all this money back, and oh my gosh. And I said, but it just keeps you present as well, because like a lot of times people get caught in just creating by intention out here. But you and I know we're a full living being, all of our information. That's why we have this beautiful being, because it's in here. And we forget that. So many people forget. But come here and your health will shift quite naturally. Like I had a guy who said, I just listened to your old radio show stuff. And he goes, my arthritis went away. He was just listening to the words and listening to the shift, and he was embodying it and feeling it, like we're saying, into the body. That's
Well, and again, your health will shift, your wealth will shift, and your ability to tap into your vision becomes clearer. That shifts as well. It's this beautiful golden means of creation that's taking effect.
Yeah. And your intuition gets clearer, because it's sort of, if you've ever seen a hoarder house, you go in and you don't know where to start, you get overwhelmed. And sometimes if you're new to being, coming and being aware, it can seem overwhelming. So kind of just look at it like that. There's just a lot of stuff in there, but one little bit every day is going to go a long way. And before you know it, it's the nice clean space that when something comes in, you can move it instantly and quickly. And if you've been on the path for a long time, you want to now just embody all of what you have, so you are moving it quickly. So, because a lot of times what I like to teach, and people say to me, they're like, well, Tracy, do I have to just meditate? And now I'm not saying, like, meditation is great. Do it when you want to do it, I meditate in the tub. I unplug, see you later. And I do my connection. I do a lot of stuff before I go to bed. But if I'm on the street or I'm out dealing with someone, and you got to be able to now connect as you're walking down the street. What are the messages that are coming? What is happening? And don't be afraid, because that's how you're going to help other people. And if you see somebody, I love teaching this one tool. If you see somebody and you don't know what to do with them, make sure your hands are open. I always say press here, the old way to make our energy flow. A lot of people know that. But just go, thank you, God. Thank you, Universe Divine, whatever you want to say. Give them what they require. Say, just go like this, give them what they require. You will be surprised just by that. You will see a little shift. Their angels, their guides, the people they work with, the people you work will get busy on them. You can just walk down the street, give them what they require. Thank you, Spirit.
What a beautiful gift. What a beautiful tool to use. Thank you for sharing that. Tracy, there's so much happening here. I want to get into the special offer because you go deeper into this. And so we'll get into that. And I want to start taking live Q&A also. So if you guys want to ask Tracy your personal question, nothing's off limit. Again, we're talking health, wealth, and intuition. So that pretty much opens up to everything. You can raise your hand and we'll take live questions here in a little bit. But Tracy, I have to ask you before we even get into the special offer, how have you seen a shift in your community with people using these tools? Where did you see people begin when they kind of started first going into some of the processes and the tools, and what's become available?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Sometimes, like I said, if they're new, they get a little overwhelmed, and I'm like, just breathe. Like, we're here. Everybody communicates with everyone. So I really keep an eye on, especially my group work. Like, I really keep an eye on them. But what I've seen and what they report is, and this I love, I've been taking the tools because I do them in bite-sized chunks, right? So I want everyone to learn in bite-sized chunks. You remember you go to school and you sit there all day, you didn't remember anything, right? So bite-sized chunks, here's what I'm teaching you, go practice it for the day sort of thing. And I do I'm every day, this is what I do because it's shifting. But they'll say to me, you know what? They're like, I take that energy, I applied it, and my sister who doesn't believe in energy, I did it at a distance and she got better. She got better faster. So they're done. Or like I said, with the people with the financial stuff, they go in and they start using their words. They're like, I applied that tool and all of a sudden my financial pictures change. And people, one thing with the relationship energy, I don't know if people are aware of this, and I know you know this, John, but maybe if I'm not sure if how much discussion is, I've noticed in the last 2 to 3 years, there was a big pull apart of people that were not fully compatible. And it's actually going to be shifting back to people that are compatible, because when the relationship energy is strong and unbreakable, you should see the creation energy as well, if people choose that. So for anyone that's going, when's it my turn or what's happening, you're going to see there's going to be a big, big shift in that area. And so a lot of people tell me too, which I do love, they say they have the triggers they used to have. Most of them, they don't have them anymore. They know how to deal with them on the spot, which is big. A lot of people will tell me that they've changed jobs and careers, which they never thought was possible. And they're living doing something they actually like to do every day, which is great. I've had so many people tell me, because I do talk about other things too, with the body things that, because with health, every time you energetically shift, the way you eat will change. And if you're trying to achieve a body when you were 20 and you're 50, like my body now at 51 doesn't want to be the way it was at 20, right? So it has to morph differently. So I'm a different energy. I'm not the energy I was at 20. I wouldn't want to be there because I was so sick. So people forget the way you actually do eat, or the way your body is going to be very different. So you can channel different and quicker. So people tell me they are more in tune with how they want to eat. They've noticed, they notice by even doing the tools. I love this one. I actually just got off the phone with a client of mine, and he said, so, that when they're brave and they come over from the business world and they're like, we're kind of like their little secret in the back pocket. And he says, I can't drink alcohol anymore, Tracy. I go, the guys, I can't do it. And I said, you notice your intuition is stronger. And, yeah. So, but even though he still has, it's still that way of doing it, right? Very lovely, lovely, lovely soul. And so I said, well, now your body's rejecting the alcohol because your vibration is getting so high. So his next one I can see is ready to move. I love that when people tell me that. People that tell me all the time they got off their prescription drugs, and because they're connecting, and then they're saying, using the little tools. And so they're able to reverse it out. And right now, people need to remember too, things are moving faster. So what took me a year to move 20 years ago, you're now moving literally within a couple of minutes or seconds, which is really beautiful.
Amazing. Sadacha, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name right, but she wrote in amazing tools, awesome clearings, beautiful prayer books, an awesome kick-ass community, and so much more. I love it. Great testimonial. And thank you for writing that in. We were going to go into a special offer. We'll get into that in a second. April can put that link in the chat box if you guys want to start kind of browsing through there, you can. But I want to go into a little bit of detail of it, but I'm guided to take a question first. So
absolutely.
Sherry.
Let's have some fun.
Sherry, let's get you to unmute, please. And then we'll start with some of the Q&A here.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Thanks. Tracy, I was wondering, I'm going through divorce. Sorry, I'm like nervous shaking.
I know, I'm like, hey. Yeah.
Feeling my energy, aren't you? Like, ah. I'm just wondering, where is the balance between like trusting in the divine to have your back, to provide for you, and where's like when you have to go to heroics, like to make sure it happens how you picture it? Like, I need to find the house, I need to find everything, figure out financial for the kids and I mean, I feel like God's like, don't worry about it, I've got you. But then it's like, okay, well, I can't get on my butt. Kind of, I don't know if you can say where do you trust and where do you act?
Okay, so they go together first. So they're always hand in hand, right? So it's that trust, no believe. It's a trusting that where I'm moving to is the right place. So there's a big old programming that we can actually move out of the field, funding of finances, which does happen, that if we don't have this family unit, and that's a whole big discussion, that it will get pulled apart. And when it gets pulled apart, then you're going to struggle. There is an actual on purpose programming, and I'll pull it up for anyone listening, that if you're a single parent, you have to struggle. It's really deep, and it's deep embedded in the way that these authoritative bodies put things through, starting in 1971. So it started in the 60s and got more anchored in 71. So first, I will start to remove that programming, because then that'll answer the second part of your question. So you can just tap there. And that being in your sovereign being and being as just a beautiful soul, we can strengthen you to know that you can provide, you can have that happen. And it can come in many different creative ways. Your providing kind of looks like, okay, is it just my job? Which that also anchors in to the blueprint, scarcity and lack. And when it's just a job. So yeah, you want to do something you like and enjoy. That gives us that ability of strength for creation energy. But then also there has to be this ability to open up to receive in many different areas. It can even come from down the road, a different person. It can come from, you don't know. I've had clients that have won the lottery 3 times. Well, like I've had clients that all of a sudden they're like, I just won $5 million. Like I had one lady, she literally won $5 million 3 times. I was like, holy man, like, okay, I can't say that was me, but and again, there was this space of what is this scarcity space that we come from. So we'll remove the scarcity, and it's trusting. This is the key, and I'll strengthen it for you. And what you can hear a spirit saying for you is trusting in your decision that leaving the marriage I've chose is the right thing. Because when we start to oscillate back and forth and question, that will also create blocks, resistance, and hesitations from opening up to something new. So it holds you back. And then that's where you'll say, I do want to do something different right now, even if it's small, bringing you joy. And then you always got to want to go in and trust. And if you do that little tap and then you go, wait a minute, I have been provided for, because you've always been provided for. It's always worked out for you. Now I'm pulling in that I am certain without a shadow of doubt, I'm going to another level. I'm leaving this old and I'm creating in a new level. So how does that sound and feel when I shift that and say that?
It feels good. I mean, I definitely have made the choice to leave the marriage. It's more leaving the house.
This is again that
like,
creates,
yeah.
And
I mean,
see, that creates doubt though.
Yeah.
That creates doubt. Am I doing the right decision? So these are just things. These are things that have memories. So we start to remove the memories, and we have to strengthen the field of trusting. Well, maybe there's a different house, a better house. I have had people, Sherry, who have left mansions. Like I'm talking mansions, like houses that I could never even live in to begin with because they're too big for me. I don't like houses like that, but good on them, who literally went to small condos and they were so happy. So it's the memories of the house that we want to start to disconnect. So you take the memories with you. It's just a building, and you override and we strengthen the memories, and the rest will come into harmony. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not the house itself. I think it's the financial burden of renting or another house, not the memories of the house itself.
But it also is the house, because the way you're holding on to the house for what it provides.
Yeah, in that way for sure.
So how about we take the leap of faith, because moving to there is look at it like a train stop, like a stepping stone to strengthen to go to the next. So we can get so much in the head to move it. We want to come down to the heart, and then we say, okay, I'm going to go do this, and I'm moving here, and just go. There's other financial stuff that's coming in. You can see it anyways. I'm actually not worried about it. Once you get moved, you'll see.
Yeah, what's really cool, what's showing up for me, and this is such a beautiful reminder for all of us, including myself, is that, Sherry, you're looking at creating the house in the old way that you're creating it, but we're all manifesting in different ways like we haven't manifested before. And that's the scary part. And if we can look at the consciousness that we're more afraid of what we are creating than afraid of not making a mistake, then that heroic efforting that you talked about in the beginning, you already know you can heroic effort. The only thing is that you doubt that you can heroic effort. And so it becomes a job. but you have the capacity of that power in you that was demonstrated as an essence of your being, not something that you have to conjure and bring up and it takes a lot of work. It's just the capacity that you have, and you got to know it and you have a relationship with it, and you've had those heroic moments enough that's like, well, hold on a second, I can actually trust that this is who it's part of me, and it doesn't have to be as hard as it was before because I've matured through it, and now I have faith and trust in it. And so trying to create the house in the way that you created before for the reasons that you created before aren't going to serve you, because then you'll just be recreating the same thing all over again. And you're stepping into something new, and you know that. And I think just hearing this in this process and the energy of letting it go, and like Tracy says, just really bringing the emotional components with you of those things that you want to hold on to are so vital. I want to give you actually a process in everybody. And Tracy, I want to get back to you because this is amazing what you're sharing, and it's opening up so much. Walk through each room in your house and remember things and have gratitude and thank the room for the memory. It's like, oh, when I held my daughter here, when I had that party, when I made love in this room, whatever it is, go through each room and have gratitude for each one. And in that, you'll feel cords releasing of things that you hope to bring with you, because those things you get to carry with you, but you get to release the house for its next iteration of evolution as you're releasing yourself for the next iteration of your evolution as well. And it's time to sever those cords. And so what Tracy's leading here is just so beautiful.
And it's that's that imprint I was saying. We get attached to the imprint that's attached to the emotion. And then exactly like John's saying, you're trying to look at the past. And we do that. We keep looking in the past, but we got to now strengthen our field to be strong to say, I don't know maybe fully what's here, but I know it's going to be better than here, and pull that energy in, because the imprint, it's the imprint. And when the imprint finally leaves, and well, until you finally leave the house, there will be other imprints that will come off. So celebrating it, being gentle on yourself, and stay in that energy of I'm certain without a shadow of doubt where I'm going is going to be like freaking amazing. Like there's something new there. There's opportunities there, and hold into the heart and bring that forward. And then you'll notice, you'll see the shifts, you'll see the signs, and you'll move forward. Because we got to create, like John said, everything we know is going to be upside down by the end of this year for a good reason.
Yeah.
Create new, and we're going to be it's like they always show me, John, like the tower card, in the tarot decks, when the tower card comes down, right? We're in the tower card moment, but you can see by the end of the year, it's ashes. And it's not ashes to say, oh, scary. But here's the other good thing. So you're leaving your house. Well, houses are going to drop in price quite drastically between now and the end of January, February. So, you can rent something and then go buy a nicer house. Did you ever think of that? So just food for thought.
Yeah, financially, I mean, I have not a lot.
It's okay. There's more. So you don't want to say that. So if I can just encourage when things like that come out, it's like, you know what? I see where I am now. It's perfect. Thank you, God. And I'm going to bring in more. I'm working to release more, to receive more, to pull in more. Watch your words, guys. Their power.
Yeah. It's not enough, but look, you're sitting in this beautiful backyard on the internet, on this call. It's more than enough, it seems like. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You got a pool back there. I wish I had a pool.
Look at that. Look at those flowers. She's got a landscaper or something's going on. I don't know.
Yeah, just that tree stump my husband hollowed out.
That's beautiful. Awesome. I'm so excited for you, Sherry. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy.
And this is why I wanted to get into Q&A first. It's like what Tracy offers through her programmings and going deep in the programs, funny programming as I called it.
Yeah.
And the special offers that she brings on BTO, they really are tools for not only gaining a clearer consciousness about what's evolving, but how to apply it in your life and cause manifesting shifts of what we want to create in ours, but it also becomes a ripple of what we're creating in the collective. And so it's amazing. Tracy, I do think we need to get on the special offer. Now I'm going to take more Q&A here. So y'all keep your hands raised. I see you on the screen. The questions are coming in through the Q&A. April, put the link in the chat box one more time. Y'all click on the link in the chat box or open a new page if you can't find the link. And the page to open is Beyond the Ordinary Show. You better know the name of my show. At least you know it now. BeyondTheOrdinaryShow.com. All the emails we sent, I don't know how you don't know the name. we start again, beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Tracy28. And that'll take you to that same page. And as you're opening that page, I have to read this testimonial. So Mathura wrote, I had to leave my job last year and take a lower paying one. But all the wealth blueprints work that I did with Tracy was so epic. I truly, honestly feel wealthier. I get free stuff all the time at all. And my new coworkers are epic. I always have money for what I truly want. It's a great community. So with that, Tracy, take us into the special offer.
Yeah, you know, so I have, as you say, there's a combination. I pull it up on my screen here. I want to walk through it with you guys quickly because it is important, and we had some internet outages earlier. But with the health wealth package, the way I've designed it is there's actually audio clearings, and so in there's a nerve, for example, a nerve parasite clearing. The reason I put this one in here, and I want to go there first to understand, was because a lot of our blueprinting sits in our nervous system, and it acts like parasitical energy, just how we overthink and over worry. Parasites, as many of you may know, are people, places, and things. Parasites are people that, you know, maybe they come back in your field 6-7 years later and you hear something, you know, that energy is still out there. So when we get the nerve system really clean and the parasitical energy really clean, and actually it was these are all brand new to you. The only people that had listened to a little bit were some of the people in the community, just because I like to, you know, see the feedback. Like, oh my gosh, there were parasites flying out and there were like some bugs and, you know, stuff like that. Just a few people that we always test them to see, you know, how you're feeling. So you can't find these anywhere else, I'll tell you. So that one is really, really, really important. It's really, really important. And that's where I always say your central nervous system, your vagus, and your intrinsic nervous system is always your core. So remember, your heart drive is sending the information down the nervous system in your body, right? When your energy is coming through, and then it's sending it to different organs. So your organs are all friends, and everything in your body has a reason that it's doing something. So when you clean that out, you actually create more space. So if there's any hidden energies, known or unknown, it'll start to fly out. So I love that one very, very much. The other one with the financial blueprint clearing, that one channeled through. Now, my channelings are a little bit different, guys. They're channeled through. So I don't redo, I don't edit, I don't slice. And some people, they don't like that. But this is, to me, I channel. It's raw channeling. So when I sit down to do, and I did the financial blueprint, it was current raw energy for what was channeled through. And that one, I actually had to go listen myself. I was gone when that one came through. Like, I was out, and I had to go back and listen to it, because it's what spirit had for everybody that would listen to this now and later, to help us through really letting go of that old paradigm from the old world into this new energy that we're all experiencing. So that one, you can do it anytime. I do recommend that people please don't drive doing any of these, because they're actually quite, they are intense. And this week especially, I've had a lot of people say to me after we work, they're feeling dizzy, they're feeling nauseous. It's just because there is so much happening on a whole other level. The Ascension Body and Alignment Clearing it goes and walks you through the different centers of the body. So it'll go from brain to chemical electrical frequency clean out, which makes you think better, to the sensory system, to reconnecting the organs in the body, the lymphatic system, so things can move and drain quite a lot better. The nerve system recalibration back to similar to with the parasitical. Again, we got to keep that one nice and strong. These ones all of them actually had to go and clean them out again. The new earth creation and manifestation. I love this one. I love this one for this reason. As we were talking about the old earth to the new earth, right? We all say we've red pilled ourselves from blue pill. And how many of you have gone, oh my God, I woke up, and you're going through something and you're saying, put me back to sleep, please. Because when I was asleep, I didn't have the awareness of everything. You've all been there. And if anyone tells you they then haven't fully woken up, because you start to realize that everything you've learned is a lie and you're relearning it. And so this going from the old earth to the new earth is a bridge. So it walks you through from a lot of the programming that's disassembling in these authoritative bodies that we're unplugging from into new, and then really anchoring that energy, the programming within that John, you and I spoke about at the beginning, because that's where it comes from. The parasite and toxin one, though, I will give you guys a warning that that's a little bit gross for some people. They see snakes and things come out of them. So it's not uncommon. It's just stuff that has to leave the body. You have to drink a lot of water after them. You can listen to them while you go to bed. The hands-on healing activation is actually, I walk you through with your guides, and your guides will come and place their hands. Some people get a little freaked out because they then feel them. If you're very feeling, they're like, oh my word, I felt that, and I felt this. And don't worry about it. They're all friendly. They're your guides. They're your spirit team. It's everything is working with you. But it's about focusing to where you can work through if you have an issue going on in your body, or perhaps you want something to become more aware. A lot of times right now, people tell me they love to use it on the heart. And I like that one on the heart too, because we can use more love, more kindness in the world right now, and more ability to stay grounded. So, and we gave everybody here something very unique and special. I've never done it before, but I like to teach people to have their tools, like I said. And I did it's almost 8 hours, this module 1. And I call it module 1 because it's the basics of learning to talk to your body in a different way. And we gave your people a discount off of that, because my whole goal is to say, you know what, and you can go through it over and over. People tell me they go through it and then they've gone through it again. They go through and they learn something new. You'll shift every time you listen to it. But it's all tools, all practical information. I always call it, it's like school. We're an academy, it's school, right? You're going back to school in a new way. And people have got to learn to do it on the fly. So we've done that one. And then there's the heart clearing. That one I love too. The heart clearing is a bonus one we gave for you guys too, because we need our heart to be even more aligned, to be free to trust, in spirit, but trust in the people around you, and to love the people you can love around you with that unconditional love. And so the heart drive, that clearing and activation also will unplug blockages, resistance in the heart from old heartache, heart pain, heartbreak, stuff like that. It'll start to come off. So you can feel heart fibrillations during it. It's not uncommon. Again, just be in a nice quiet place. If it feels a little, I ground you at the end. And I say to people, if it ever feels a little bit too much, you just take a cold shower and it'll reset the electrical grids really fast. Yeah.
Beautiful. So a question on the body regeneration. It's 50% discount on that first module. How much is that first module?
I think it's like $400 normally.
Right, so 50% off. It's so $200 for that to get into the body regeneration as well. And that's item 7. And out of the bonuses and everything, out of 8 items that you have on here, it's fantastic work, y'all. And again, the 5D ascension and clearing, the nerve system calibration, and how many of us are going through, we're aware we're going through nervous system recalibration. We're going through the stages of being triggered and feeling all at peace at the same time. And then the in-between stages and the confusing, but also the power that is emanated through that as we recalibrate and rewire in different ways. So to have this as a tool, and the way Tracy teaches is fantastic. Again, entering the new earth creation and manifestation elevation. It's not only the old foundations of manifestation are dying, there's new ones created, but the why behind it also, and you'll get to feel your why in a different way as you evolve into that. So it's wonderful. The Rewire Financial Blueprint, we've already talked a ton about that. And I know that there's more, and I'm excited about that because there's abundance showing up in so many ways. It's how we can recognize it, have a relationship with it, and nurture it and nourish it.
Go into that scarcity at all, guys, no matter what's going on. Like, I don't know if you noticed this, John. I noticed that they're trying to create these huge collective bubbles, like in the stock market and stuff. And I'm saying, people, just go sit on the side right now. You're okay, but they're trying to just, don't let your field pull into that.
Right. And that's part of the parasite and toxic clearing also. I mean, they're all over the place, and there's physical and emotional parasites that are at play. So even for that aspect of it, and there's more. I mean, that's just a layer. And I love that the way that you have it here, Tracy, because it really goes down to the root and empowers in a way that's holistic rather than trying to put band-aids on individual things. So this is wonderful. the hands-on healing activation. Y'all read through this, the body regeneration method, 50% off of a $400 course, and then the heart clearing and activation. And potentially you may have visceral experiences of that as well. So this is fantastic, y'all. Someone asked about the 2 payment options. So the cost for this program is $127. There's a 2 payment option on it as well. And the first payment comes out when you sign up, and the second payment comes out 30 days later. We make it super easy to make it more accessible. So I hope you guys dive into it and take advantage of this that hasn't been offered anywhere else but here on BTO. So it's fantastic work, Tracy. Thank you for putting this together.
Yeah, well, you always, you know what, it's just you have such a special soul group. That's the thing I love about the people that come here is, I get chills saying this, is that every one of you that come here, you have stepped up to the plate. So it's kind of like I always say, you know, you got the call that the Jedi have come back out. You're the Jedi, and now we're going. You know how the Jedi hid, and then I'm a big sci-fi nerd, but you know how the Jedi had to hide, and now, you know, they had to all come out at some point. I've chills, and you're all those Jedis and your skills and your mastering, and we're all coming out around the world. And I feel compelled to share this for a minute. I did a class, and it was quite powerful. The energy of they weren't happy with us. And sometimes they'll come to you at night. Yeah, I know you've had those experiences, and I've had them since a child. And they came to me, and they were these darker energies. And I always say they're like the Empire, where you can't touch us. And they were so angry, and they said, please, we're going to stop you guys. You guys are not listening to us. We're going to stop every one of you. I turned around, and because I know how to deal with them, I was like, get the hell out. I said, you cannot hold one light worker back anymore. Your time is done. And I went into this whole thing, and it was so crazy. And then the next point was like this poof, and everybody was like, something feels different, like my skills. Because I said, here's the thing. They tried and they tried and they tried. And that I knew, I'm like, their time is now officially up. The Jedi have won, because they're like, oh, okay, you guys aren't listening. We can't get to you, and they can't. So I just want to share that, because no matter what, we've won, and you're all Jedis, and your light energy is shining, and we've been all called, and we're not going back in the holes. No way.
I love it. I love it. How exciting. And it's true. There's no way that it's happening. So it's so wonderful. All right, let's go to some more Q&A here. But you guys can type your questions in the chat box also if your camera not ready. Rihanna, let's go to you. If we can get you to unmute, please.
Hi.
Welcome.
Great. Thank you.
Oh my God, we're light.
I just love how you're so articulate, Tracy. This has been really, really fun, because I like that. It's like very sharp and clear. So I think where I would like to go with my question to you is, you know, I have a zillion gifts and skills, and I've been at the pinnacle of my life, and then Dark Night of the Soul, all this major timelines convergence, and you know, and then I've been crawling out, and I feel just kind of like this. I'm having a hard time, like getting through doubt. Mm-hmm. And trusting myself again, and speaking my voice. And, you know, I have this relationship for 26 years that's kind of like flatlining, and it's like, so everything is shifting very fast. And I feel this multi-galactic aspect of myself really coming online. And yet my physical body is, like a lot of us, is having a struggle with all of it. So I don't know if all of this makes sense. Yes, of course it does. It's all of us. So
yeah, it does. And it's funny, I'll say this because I scribble while you talk before you said it. I'm like, you can see my scribble books, but I wrote in there that the ET energy was trying to connect for you to actually, like, the extra ET, whatever you want to call them, the off-world sort of energy channel a lot through you. And that's where also the doubt's coming from. So this might be a little bit out there for some people, but I'll just tell you like it is. So, yeah, that off-world energy, you have a lot of lifetimes you can see where you've actually played in it. You've come here with it. You are correct. The relationship, I always say to people, do what you want. I can do some just like clean up there, I call it. So you know how to move forward. It does look like an anchor in the field, only because no one's good or bad. You know that. We're all good. We're moving away. You've just grown. And it looks like everything that plateaued that created the doubt is, you know how we've been, it smells like a musty sock. You know how we've been in something for
Yeah.
so long and we just want to pull it out of the field. I can pull that out of the field, and I'll ask you first if you want me to do this, because what will happen is the things that are holding you back, they're going to irritate you a lot more. And they're going to irritate you more because now you're meant to actually let them go, because this energy, and it looks more like a channeling energy. Did you do channeling before? Or
I'm one of these people that is a direct knower. It's like I have so much information that has always come in my entire life. Everybody comes to me for everything.
Yeah, it's a very strong channeling energy, and it wants to open up to another level. That's why you're kind of doubting, because you're looking at the old, but now this whole channeling information, that could be a whole, like, even brand new business. And something that I've been seeing a lot is, you know, when you go to stadiums and if they say it's a job fair, and so right now, Universe has a big stadium, there's a job fair, but there's not enough people in there that want to come work at all these new jobs. And that's where we all, you know, are going to be coming together as light workers and things that we do, and energy workers and whatever we do to help the new earth. But the channeling information wants to connect stronger. And that's why you're having the doubt with, if I actually lift off and I embrace all of my gifts, you've done all the work, you've done what you need to do, like what you were required, right? You've done all your little training, but now it wants to be put into full-on practical use.
Yes.
And that's why you're having the doubt. So are you okay if we open the door to channel quicker and clean out what needs, so you can see what needs to be cleaned out on a time frame that works for you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This has been my whole adult life, is facing my shit and walking forward.
Yeah, you're done now. So now that's why it's feeling stagnant, and that's why you can see the doubt. So I'll strengthen the field. I'm going to do a correction adjustment just in the middle here of just in your chest. So we're going to go thymus and heart. I'm just going to open this, and I'm going to increase the actual sensory system. And as soon as you can start to see, you'll get even more messages. They're going to come through. And then also it looks like your physical body is going to go through another shift. So that's where I was saying, pay attention to like what you feel like eating or not eating, because it's going to get very vocal to you, which will help the channel become clearer. Does that make sense?
Totally. Because I've already made the decision where I'm doing increments of cleansing, of parasites, of metals, of liver.
There's a great cleanse. If I can I'm going to share it because you can.
Yes.
One of the best things you can do. I always say this to people, but they go, take a liter of water, throw in that. It's that old fashioned one. Take a liter of water, take in a half a lemon, put in a tablespoon of the Himalayan salt, drink it in the morning on an empty stomach. It'll clean out everything and anything. Don't go away from your bathroom for 2 hours.
Okay.
And then you don't need to do all the other ones. You'll see. And then it'll just, the parasites, things, they just move through. Do it like once a month, especially because you're doing so much adjustment, and you'll be golden. Your liver and your colon, rectum, anus is letting go of a lot. So I'll strengthen that, and you'll see this will open up differently. It's time to embrace it. Yeah.
Wow.
Well done.
I was right. Congratulations.
This has been good. I opened the email at 9:45 in the morning, 15 minutes before. I'm like, 10 o'clock. Yay.
I'm excited to see where everybody using their gifts, how we're all going to be changing so much in the next 24 months. Because like I said, the job fair is saying more people, come on. And people are still walking by. I'm like, look at all those jobs in there. Like, I don't like that word. Look at all those, I should change it, but look at all those experiences and opportunities. They're just waiting for so many of you to come on in. Yeah.
So, Rihanna, I have one suggestion for you to add to what Tracy has opened up and what you're so beautifully receiving. As you come into the potency of that, have fun.
Yes. It's been a while.
Have fun. There you go. You're laughing now, so it hasn't been a while. You're in it. Just keep it going. Let it keep building. Again, it's not that you don't have it. It's right there. So it's like, yes, and keep amplifying that, because it's time to cash in our Dharma chips that we've accumulated through all of these other experiences. It is time to live with a vibrancy and a vitality again. Health, wealth, and your intuition, they're all merging into one. And Tracy's bringing it so beautifully here through these processes, reminding you of the accumulation of what's available to you now. So to all of us. So thank you, Rihanna, and bless
Thank you.
Well
so
done.
awesome.
Play.
All right. Let's go to our next caller. Sastacha. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but if you'll come online. Sadatsha. Is that correct?
Yes.
Maybe.
Correct, John. How are you?
Welcome. Doing wonderful. Thanks for calling in. What's your question for Tracy?
Well, Tracy's been there throughout since I lost my job in 2020. Through the darkest times, actually, she's been there for me. And she predicted in 2020 I'd get my job back, which I did. And I'm back with my job. They just opened up a promotional opportunity at the topmost position for me. And I'm going for assessment on the 21st. So if I clear that, I get back to where things were. My question today, Tracy, is with just regards to me and Grizel. You know what's happening with the, there's a lot of, how do I put this? We are prepped with the crypto, the silver, the gold for the coming months, which is coming ahead for us financially. But just, as of right now with Emirates, I don't know what's happening with just the promotional opportunities for us. There's a lot of fear, and I would say fear mongering happening with the company towards its employees, where I'm just scared and hesitant. Will it happen or will it not happen? So I'm reading your prayer books, and when I opened the prayer book, I said, what prayer do I need today? So that's one of my main exercises. So the prayer was release all negative energy and doubts and thoughts. So I just wanted to say if there's anything I can do from my side besides that.
Yeah. So when you're going into the I am certain, there's a place here, and there is, we'll see what we want to do. Remember, we were talking about the collective bubble. I said to John, make sure as people are going through the stock market correction, well, it's going to be a total change in system. And you can see you don't want to pull into the bubble, right? So make sure at the Air Emirates that you're pulling out from the bubble. And as you're pulling out, remember the cording, right? So I say to people a lot of times, if you look at your cording, just to ease and grace, cording always from the root there, it's old, and I always teach it because it's easy. Pull out from the collective bubble and plug into the joy. So the people that aren't of that energy, they're in the energy only because everybody's kind of looking at the world going, what's happening? There's a lot of information too that you can see behind the airlines of things that they haven't shown to the employees, not just Air Emirates, but I mean travel in general. I talk a little bit more openly there, but so we're going to keep you unplugged from that energy. And what we want to do is make sure that when you're coming in, see yourself in that position, but make sure your body, when it goes weak and you can feel it, do the exercise where we pull up like this and strengthen to the new position. And remember, when you want to actually pull something in, this seems to be the bit you have to start to get stronger on, is you to the new position to you. And I'll remove all the accumulation of energies from all the various people that can get in the way with promotions and movement. And then it looks like there's some final resolutions, and you two look like you're going to jump off there. You guys got to understand too right now that there's a lot of kind of angry rage energy that's going on, and don't take it personally. Don't get sucked into it. There are things, I always call it a little Borg energy, kind of like that. It looks like that's in the system that is triggering this. So just stay out of that and stay very present. And it looks like very soon, probably within about 30 days, you'll be stepping back and you'll be in that observation mode. And you're like, I don't give them any more of my attention, as everything's going to shift. Yeah. And you guys are ready for the shift. So well done. You're ready. Well done. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the question. Thanks for calling in. Wonderful. All right, let's go to another caller. Gloria, welcome to the call.
Oh, there she is.
Gloria.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much. I prayed today, and what's really strange is my computer had not been working for a long time, and I had a vision problem, so I haven't been able to see. So today was the first time I was able to see the call and then be able to use it. And I was like, wow, this is like a miracle today. So I'm so grateful. I had a blessed life. I've had synchronicities. I've had guidance pretty well all my life until I sort of reached that age of 65. And I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I did experience a lot of losses, a lot of changes. I moved from one country to the other, and it almost feels like I just messed things up, not intentionally, of course. And I don't know if I'm in the wrong place because I'm not connecting with anything. I've had more health challenges. I've had eyesight issues and I've had to have them resolved with cataract surgery, but I've had complications from that. It just seems to compound. And since COVID, I've had a cough, and I bring in the light. I trust because I've meditated and I eat really healthy and I'm active, but I've not been able to relieve the cough. And I cough all morning long and I cannot sleep because if I lay down, all I do is cough. And I haven't found a solution. So if you can
Okay.
offer any guidance, I'd love that. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, wow. Look at you. Yeah. Okay. I don't know what this means, but they said to tell you you're not supposed to eat beans. So you'll know that more than me, but stay away from beans. So I hope you don't like beans because I don't know. They're like, stay away from beans. Okay. So that's on a side note. Spirit always tells me weird, funny things. So I'm like, you'll know what that means more than me. There is an old ancestral programming that's coming up, and it is actually around age. It started at about 60, funny enough. And it came in, it's kind of like they pointed the arrow going down, like at 60, then everything goes down. It's not anything you did. It was an old programming that was in the back. You've been in the right place. You've been following. I call these like snags. Have you ever gone fishing and you throw out the line and then it snags in the weeds, right? And then you're like, well, wait a minute, that's supposed to be a clear hole. And it's not. So let me first, and I'll walk you through the rest of this. I'm going to start to remove the accumulation of programming around 60. And a lot of this looks very collective. So sometimes that can happen where it's a collective and we're looking within, we're doing everything. And I say, go external. What is that external space? And so we'll move the external, and I'm going to remove actually the internal. So I'm going to make an adjustment. Now I'm going to pull the lungs out. Two things you can actually supplement. I don't know if you know this, so just you can do your research with a lot of people that have gone through COVID and lung issues. NAC and quercetin do open up the lungs, but I'm going to open them up energetically. So if you find that, those are two things I say to people if for some reason you need support. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually remove this whole last 2 years did target the lungs. It targeted areas of grief, of anywhere we didn't feel we were in the right place. You do look like that place where you are is actually showing, it shows like a black hole, like it just sort of sucks your energy versus supporting you. So you are correct on that. You are probably, we can open that to move. It wasn't right or wrong. You needed to experience it though. And it looks like once you leave that place and you come into another city, there is actually a lot of blessing. So there is movement, and it could anywhere. It's showing more like, for me, it'd be cold, right? Because I live where it's minus like 55 in the winter. So, it looks like it could be down end of December, January into the new year. So but timing can change. So we'll move that. I'm just going to command. So if you want to go like this, and actually everybody can do it. It's a great exercise I teach. Command the lungs, pull your hands like this and command the lungs to expand. Command the lungs to release. Command the lungs to let go. And I'm going to do that into your system. And I'm going to expand the rib cage, and I'm going to remove the accumulation of the virus that is stuck in there as well. And the cough. So we want to go there. The area where you live, it's like the surrounding, even outside, it smells more like chemical, like it's nothing you're really putting in the body. It just smells very chemically. So let's correct the system. So what we're going to do is raise your vibration higher than what the COVID vibration was. And then we're going to raise your vibration higher than what these chemicals are. So remember, in the old days, right, with the Rife system, and they always say frequency to frequency, we cancel something out. And that's why they got rid of those systems, because it actually canceled out cancer and stuff like that. So we're doing it, you can do it now energetically. We're going to raise the body, and we're going to raise and expand the respiratory. I'm just going to remove some quick parasitical energies out of there as well, and strengthen you again for the move. Just make sure. So I'm going to seal that area that seems like a black hole, so you can be in it and start to catapult, and it doesn't have to affect you, so to speak.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's actually something there that, sorry guys, I do yawn, burp, and gag when I work. It's just how I can work and not get sick. So my body does what it needs to do.
I burped so many times in my session with Tracy. It was crazy.
I know. And then people are like, and I'm only telling you a quarter of what we're actually moving out. And then people are like, what is happening here? You might feel a little tired after, but everyone's getting this shift because, we're all here together. There's a little bit more of a blockage that comes on the throat. And it's really how you've had to breathe in this new circumstance. what you are doing and where you have been. So this is, I've got to be careful. This is a prime example, and it happens to many of us that are very strong light workers. All of us are, and energy beings that I said, it's funny. And when I said the dream, and they're like, you guys aren't going down. So when these energies want to sort of dim us, they find ways to also make us sick, and we get into environments where we can get sick or we can get tired, and it's nothing to be afraid of, it's to be aware of. So basically the way I can describe it, the back of your heart, it looks like, if you saw like a lobster, or not a lobster, an octopus, and you see the bottom and the tentacles, and it sits at the back like this. I'm going to pull that energy out, which is a prime example of parasitical energy as well. And then it drags the immune system down. And that's just like something walked by and said, hey, you're a bright little soul. Yeah. It's funny. The beans keep popping up. I know that's funny. Okay. Spirit has a funny sense of humor though, too. Okay. Take a deep breath. How does that feel in this lung area?
Well, I never used to be able to take a deep breath at all. I could only take a tiny little breath. So I'm sure the more I expand that, the better it'll be. It'll be the breath.
Yeah. Can you take as deep a breath as you can for a moment here? Hang on. Sounds worse than it is, guys. Okay, take another one. Good. And one more. Good job. Good job. Good job. So what I want you to do, can you, it might feel tingling, it might feel a little bit expansive, and it can feel a little bit dizzy. So make sure you drink some more water, but give this about 24 hours. You actually want me to gag like that? Trust me, when I work with you, you want me to gag like that. I know it sounds funny, but, and then just just go into that chest again. Good. The filters, so what's happening, so the filters on top of the lungs, and then right at the base of the lung, you have that toxin that's left is sitting at the very bottom of the lung, so it's coming out. So you could end up even coughing more to get it out, okay? So strengthen, and you just let it go. You can even get some of the phlegm, but you can see it's releasing out of the base of the lung, the filter at the top of the lung, and that's why we adjust it. Everybody will get that too, so if you start coughing, and so what's the thing? Do you like beans? I have to ask. Like, do you like beans?
I love beans. I love beans. I try to have them with almost everything. I love beans.
Okay. You can't make that stuff up. Spirit's so funny. Tell her back off the beans. Okay, you gotta back off the beans. You gotta pick some to back off of.
I laughed when you said that.
I love it. Yeah. And you just let that process that through. Yeah. You'll see. Yeah.
Gloria, come back and, be in the experience now and stay in it and try not to anxialize it. Allow your heart and your emotion, your nervous system to flow as one. And then once you're done with that, the replay of this will be available for everybody. So y'all, we'll send the replay link out a little bit later and an email, and replays can always be accessed on the website. Super easy. Just go to the website. There's a replay link at the very bottom of the site, or type in beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replay, and it'll take you to the replay page. So come back. There's a lot that was shared here.
Thank you. I feel so blessed. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria.
You're better.
All right, we'll get into, of course, I want to remind you guys of the special offer. April's going to put the link in the chat box, but I want to take this other question first, which is, I'd love a little dialogue with you on this, Tracy. And this is from A. Mathur, who writes, I'm having issues with following or followers like sheep and shepherd religious programs that I'm rejecting. How does it work for you both as leaders of the community with a following? And I'd love for you to dive into this first, and I want to give my perspective on it. Not my perspective, my understanding, actually.
I want to answer this by one of the wonderful souls that is in our community, and she said it like this. She had the same issue. She's like, I don't want to think, because I'm the first person that says, one, you don't worship anyone. There's no, we're just here. We're just learning. That's all we're doing. And she was struggling with this. And she said, I don't want to think like I don't want to think I'm giving up my sovereignty or my power. And I'm like, no, we don't want to do any of that, which does come from religious programming and sheeples and things like that. And one of the things I always say, and I have had visitations from the Christ consciousness years ago. And he said to me, one of the reasons there's so many problems. So I'm just going to say what he says, and you can take it or leave it, whatever. He just said, one of the reasons so many people are having problems with connecting to me as an energy is because I'm not ever to be worshiped. And as soon as you start worshiping me, I'm out. And it was interesting because see how many people just give up their sovereignty and they worship. And I was like, wow. And it was really profound all those years ago, because what I say to people is, I don't look at it as following. I don't look at it like that. I look at, we are a community of souls. We're coming together. I was teaching a class last night, guys, and one of the souls said something which gave me a clearing in there too. And I said it right on. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're constantly just learning. We're pulling each other up the ladder of life. We're all here. Nobody is better than anybody. And when you start to understand that, we're just learning the knowledge that we can with the information and integration, and then we're molding it. I always say to people, take whatever's there, take what you want, leave what you don't, and mold it your way. It's about your way. And it's unique, because if we all mold it our own way, that's how we become this beautiful fabric, like a puzzle, right? We're all a unique piece that's coming together. And so we just, we maybe came a little bit earlier, but we're no better. It's not about that. We're just here to help each other become the best versions we can on this journey. And I look at community very differently, because I know what it's like to go on this journey 20 years ago alone. And I know what it's like to not feel like I could speak up. And I know what it's like when everyone told me I was crazy and weird as a child. And I said, I just want a safe place where we can just learn from each other, support each other, and expand our gifts. And there is no, people ask me all the time, do you believe in gurus and masters? I said, absolutely not. I never have. I've said as a kid, I have been shamed for saying that as a younger person, like when I first started my journey. And I said, no, I don't. I just want to connect to spirit and want everybody else to, and all of our greatness together, we create a better earth and a new world.
And we all share and we build consciously. Let me give you my awareness about this as well. And that's so beautiful, Tracy, because for me, it's a calibration. So the way Tracy speaks, it's an invitation, not this is what you have to do, or else you're not going to break free. Or if you don't do this, there's something wrong with you. Or if there's judgment that gets created or doubt within yourself, then there's an issue of manipulating an energy for an outcome that perceives you being less than the perfection that you already are. And that's one of the barometers for me as to whether you're following or you're being brought into your self-sovereignty. But let me go over Tracy's package with you, and this is going to tie into my answer for this. So click on the special offer. Again, it's $127, a 2-payment option, and we'll just go through the items quickly. 5, the ascending, clearing, and body alignment. It's the first item. You answer the nervous system recalibration. You're entering your new earth creation and manifestation elevation. You're rewiring your financial blueprint. There's a clearing of parasites and toxins. There's a hands-on healing activation, bringing you back to the potency within yourself. The body regeneration method, the discount on that. And then the heart clearing and the activation. And whenever we go through these periods of evolution, of growth, we start feeling those places that we lived in that were in the disillusionment of the souls and the lights that we really are. And when we start growing and evolving up to a certain point when we're about to burst into the spectrum, we question the foundations that took us up to that place that we were growing and evolving through. And so that this thing is coming up within you, I think it's so perfect and beautiful and really signifying to me that you're questioning a new way of being and discerning in ways that you're not willing and won't go back into the foundations that kept you in the loop that you no longer want to be in. And so kudos to you for your awareness. And I actually invite you, and again, through that rub, it's like, something ain't right here. Allow the wisdom of what's not right to guide you, but keep your heart open for those things that do support you, that you may interpret. It might be part of the old, but if it's inviting you in a different way and you're expanding into it, be curious, open to it, never fearing that you're going to lose your power if you happen to dip your toe in and it doesn't serve you. What if you do dip your toe in and it serves you tremendously, but you're changing your perspective of what following and followers are? You're coming into it with an authority of self instead of expecting someone to be the authority for you, for yourself. And that's why we're questioning the political systems, the financial systems, the nervous system. It's all being rewired. And so questioning and those red flags, that's your intuition coming in line saying something's changing. And I'm choosing a newer path that's more in alignment with who I am and where I'm growing. So that's, and again, this package is such a representation of what you're growing into, the tools that are here to help you to evolve. And then what you decide to do with it, that's your discernment and your wisdom coming into play with a technology, a wisdom that is available to you if you choose it.
And the truth of what we think is true today, always be open that our truth is constantly changing. And that's why when we're on the path, people say, do you ever stop? I said, no, I live this way every day, because who I was even a year ago, there's so many things in my life that change even from a year to now, or even a month ago to now. And I spend some time in the mirror with myself going, who are you now today? Because your truth is changing. Just like I said, go back. And you guys all know Star Trek's real. You really know they've been telling us what's going on. But go back to the Jedi thing when Luke didn't know the truth within him. And I like to give practical things you can look at. Your truth is changing, right? And the more he accessed who he was, the more truth he changed. In my book, people always ask me, tell why you're a big Yoda fan. Like Yoda put me on the path. If you ever read my first book, Yoda put me on the path to where I am today as a little child watching that show. And then, realizing how much power was there. But your truth will change, and we need to question these systems. We need to question them so we can create a better reality. And that's what's so beautiful about what John was saying, and that I hope all of you always will remember that and take that away today, that's why we create the things we do. That's why I love being able to come here with you guys too, because what was true, I used to think the medical system was my friend until 32. And they're like, sorry, nothing more we do for you. You're probably going to die soon. Like your body's failing. And that was my truth from birth to 32. My truth changed, but with change, many of you have experienced it. You know how many people gave me pushback when I went into energy work and holistic healing, and you're crazy. That's weird. I'm like, what? I'm going to die and leave 2 little kids, or I'm going to do something different. So be open to just know that your truth will change, and our truth has to change every day to keep evolving.
Yeah. And just when you think you're done, guess what?
Oh yeah, I know.
It's like, okay. But what a wonderful experience. What a wonderful thing it is to be alive and human.
Greatest time to be alive.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Tracy, we can go on, and this is wonderful. Y'all, the special offer link, it's in the chat box. I forgot to mention that again. Click on it. You can also find it on beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Tracy28. We'll send it in the replay link in the email as well. But take advantage of the special offer and dive in with Tracy. There's so many tools, again, so many processes that are so beneficial and will work for you right away.
And I would like to say, John, we do have just an open free Telegram. If people are there and they need a little support, I just say come to the free Telegram. And so I know there was a surgical thing. I'm very big on babies and surgeries. Like I always watch for little comments on there. So it's a way to support you. If you have the package, then we can support you too. I don't want to just say, oh, that's not, you're gonna might have questions, right? So it's the way I can support is on.
And that's why we keep doing Beyond the Ordinary Show and bringing on amazing people, because we're not just left hanging. It's like Tracy's gone. It's like, that's it, you're done. Scarcity, fight, or you're lost forever. It's but I love the fact that you can go deep and really be in intimacy with a particular process that's really going to help you. And it's that depth of intimacy that really creates the lasting results. So these special offers are tremendous. So I definitely encourage you again to take advantage of that. Y'all are amazing. Thank y'all for coming here at this new time. Amazing questions, great energy tonight. Tonight. I have to restructure my wording. And Tracy, thank you. It's a pleasure as always to be able to collaborate with you in this way. And thanks for what you're doing for all of us in the collective.
Thank you for all the contributions you're giving, and everyone that's here and everyone that listens later. I just want to say one last thing, which is thank you for showing up, because we need all of us and we all matter. So thank you.
Absolutely. Love you guys. Namaste. I look forward to seeing you on the next call.